Hello, great people. Members of the Labour Party, the obedient and majority of the Igbo people are currently displeased with the governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, for openly endorsing President Bola Tinubu during the president's official visit to the state. In a moment, I'll leave you to watch the video of where Governor Chukwuma Soludo openly endorsed President Bola Tinubu for 2027. But before then, I must tell you that the governor is currently under every criticism. His Facebook page is currently under fire with a lot of comments trickling in. People are comparing him to the brother of the biblical Joseph. They are accusing him of selling his brother, Peter Obi. You will recall that Mr. Peter Obi is one of the strong candidates that is likely to face the president in 2027. And Mr. Peter Obi is a former governor of Anambra State. So the Igbo people are displeased with this. We will watch the video of the endorsement. Then when we come back, we'll be dissecting what could have prompted Chukwuma Soludo to take that action. What are his unsaid words? Is Chukwuma Soludo acting for himself or acting for the interest of the Anambra people? Then we will also be dissecting what is the significance of his endorsement of Bola Tinubu. What impact will it have on Anambra politics, particularly that of APGA in 2027 and beyond? And what is the likely gain for Chukwuma Soludo and APGA in all of this? We'll be dissecting this and a whole lot more on this episode with your sure plug, Dr. Omosoladeji. First, let us go and watch the video of the governor's endorsement of Bola Tinubu. Then we come back for some great discussion. Let's watch it.
In 2011, before I joined APGA in 2013, APGA took an official position to support and work with the political party and government at the center. Indeed, in that year, APGA adopted the sitting president then as its presidential candidate. And I want to report that that policy by APGA has not changed.
There you have it. You just watched the video of the governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, openly endorsing President Bola Tinubu for 2027. I would like to give you a political calculation of how the governor of Anambra State may have just printed the obituary of APGA and how his action may eventually lead to the end of APGA in Anambra State. But before I do that, I need to first of all say something, which is that sincerely it is a plus to get endorsed, particularly in the home state of your opponent. Mr. Peter Obi is from Anambra State. So for Governor Chukwuma Soludo to be openly endorsing President Bola Tinubu, whether anybody likes it or not, that is a plus for the president. Whether Mr. Chukwuma Soludo has done it rightly or wrongly is a different thing. It's just like Mr. Peter Obi coming to Lagos State and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu openly endorsing Mr. Peter Obi as against his rival, President Bola Tinubu. So either way you look at it, is it some kind of like a political point for the president? But then we must ask ourselves, does Soludo truly believe in Bola Tinubu, or is just endorsing him for political survival? Does he believe in Bola Tinubu in terms of his leadership style, in terms of his political trajectory, his personality, his antecedent? Does he believe in him, or is just doing it for political survival? We all know that in Nigeria, everybody rush to align to the center because the center holds so much power. In terms of revenue allocation, resource control, electioneering, name anything, the power holds so much center. So you may want to think back that, okay, Chukwuma Soludo, are you doing this for political survival because your own election is coming in November this year? So are you doing this to just align with the president so that you can get some fair treatment, because you know that the president, has some kind of like influence, is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and we know the role that the police usually play in our election. So is Chukwuma Soludo doing this for political survival? Because let us imagine if it were to be Peter Obi that had won that election and is the president, if Chukwuma Soludo is hosting him, definitely we also declare support for him. If it was Atiku Abubakar or Rabi Musa Kwankwaso that won that 2023 election, what Chukwuma Soludo is doing now is the same thing that he will be doing. So to me, it is apparently more of a political survivor based on the kind of democracy that we practice. You have to align so that you don't get treated badly. I think that is what Chukwuma Soludo is doing. But then again, we must think of it that, okay, what if that is not the case? What if Chukwuma Soludo truly believes in the Bola Tinubu political model? Well, I must tell you that if Tinubu is his model, if Chukwuma Soludo is endorsing Tinubu because he believes in him, I can tell you for free that then Anambra people will suffer. Because currently, Nigerian people, majority of them, are currently languishing in anguish. I don't know whether people reach out to you. I don't know whether people contact you. I don't know how you are surviving. But then I know that people are reaching out to me and they are telling me about the economy and how it is difficult to survive. So what I can say is, if Tinubu is a model for Chukwuma Soludo and is endorsing him because Tinubu is a model, then I can assure you that the way Nigerians are suffering is the way Anambra people will be suffering. And if Tinubu is a model for Chukwuma Soludo, then you need to also watch out in 2027 in the sense that in the next election, if Soludo gets a second term, so that Soludo to himself will not be power-centric. Because if Tinubu is his model, then Soludo may also be thinking of having of being a godfather in Anambra State. But then again, it is a good one for the president. And like I said, I want to give you some kind of like political arithmetic as regards how Chukwuma Soludo may have printed the obituary of APGA. And let me give that to you. You see, the action of Chukwuma Soludo, mere looking at it, is more detrimental to APGA, not detrimental to Chukwuma Soludo, but detrimental to APGA and his political associates. And the president definitely has nothing to gain or lose. And why did I say so? The president has nothing to gain in the sense that if an election is held in Anambra State today, a presidential election, and Peter Obi is on the ballot, I can tell you anytime, any day that it's a win for Mr. Peter Obi. Massive vote will come for Mr. Peter Obi. And Bola Tinubu, as a political strategist, I believe he himself knows. So apparently he has nothing to gain or lose because he knows that Igbo people will always cast a vote for Peter Obi anytime, any day, particularly if the result of the last election is anything to go by. He knows that they are sympathetic towards the cause of Mr. Peter Obi. Now, what would the president have to lose? Nothing. What does he have to gain? Nothing. But then, to the APGA political associate, you see, you may endorse President Bola Tinubu just so that you can get a fair treatment. But I can tell you that you endorsing Bola Tinubu will not stop Bola Tinubu from, campaigning for his party in November this year, not 2027, November this year. Another election is coming up November this year. It will stop Bola Tinubu from campaigning for his candidate. It will not stop Bola Tinubu from telling his party to go all out and try their best. It will stop Ganduje, the chairman of APC, from going all out to see whether he can grab Anambra State. And if you look at it, it will stop the APC from vote buying. If it is possible for them, they will also perpetuate vote buying. So at the end of the day, the only gain that it can bring for Chukwuma Soludo is that the president will just try to play neutral in the sense that he won't use his overbearing influence on the election. But your open endorsement of him doesn't mean that he will rein in his disciples not to go all out and attempt whether APC can capture Anambra State. No, don't mistake it. The president will not tame his disciples. No, he will leave them to play their game. He will leave them to go all out to see if Anambra State can be captured by the APC. And the implication of this is that in 2027, when the senatorial election and the House of Representative election in Anambra State will be held, there is an implication. And that's why I said, as Chukwuma Soludo printed the obituary of APGA, in the sense that if you are telling your Anambra State people to go and vote for the president, don't forget that the presidential election, the senatorial election, the House of Representative election will be conducted at a time in one day. So if you tell Anambra State people that go and vote for President Bola Tinubu, some of them, they say, oh, Mr. Governor, don't say, maybe go vote for Tinubu. And some of them, if they vote for Bola Tinubu, at the end of the day, don't forget that some of them will also be voting for the senatorial candidate of the APC and the House of Representative candidate of the APC. So some of them will even want to vote for Tinubu. They may make a mistake. Maybe by virtue of the level of education, they may go and vote for a senator and think that they have voted for Bola Tinubu. And at the end of the day, this will reduce the chance of APGA in the state. And if APGA eventually lose that election, it will produce APC senators, APC House of Rep. Then APC will have a strong percentage of leadership in the state. Then those APC guys that have won that election will now be scheming of how to turn half into a whole. They will be scheming for how to turn the half power or kind of like the percentage that they have. They will be thinking of how to multiply it and eventually take over the state. And I foresee a situation whereby APC will go and look for strong senatorial candidate, a prospective governorship candidate. They will go and give that person a senatorial ticket, hoping that the mistake that Chukwuma Soludo have made, that they should vote for Bola Tinubu, will favor that person. Once that person is in the Senate, that person will have access to power, we have access to authority, and we is being an already incumbent legislature, we have all the political clout to now campaign for governorship. And at the end of the day, in the next governorship election, after this one that will be held in November, that person may eventually emerge as governor. So you can see that in none of this, Chukwuma Soludo is just playing to the gallery, and that is why I said this is action. If you look at it futuristically from the lens of a political scientist, you may see that while you are trying to kind of like play a political game that will favor you, you may have just nailed the coffin of APGA in Anambra State. So I think that Chukwuma Soludo should think well before he acts, and to make sure that even if he's going to support Bola Tinubu, he will educate the Anambra State people very well, and at the end of the day, they will be able to differentiate between the presidential election and the senatorial election. And I think there's already too much news about 2027, apparently because the president is a power-oriented man, and that's why if any politician want to speak, they say, oh, we endorse you for 2027. I think there should be less talk about politics, let's talk about development, and let's talk about politics, more talk about development, more talk about how to bring succor to the people of Anambra State and to Nigerians. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. I have great interesting videos coming your way. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.